All right, people, it is Tuesday, so it is that time again. Time to take a look at some of the rookies and sophomores on the Seahawks, see how they're doing. First of all, I will be over on the Hawks Nest channel tonight. We will be streaming, talking about the Lions postgame, going over the Saints postgame, going over what happened there, talking about the good and the bad, and what needs to happen from now on. I think you guys kind of know how we do things from now on, so I suggest you tune in if that sounds like something you want to listen to. Hope to see you tonight. I believe it's 7 o'clock Pacific. Okay. The rookies, the sophomores, what do we got? Well, offensive line, the news is mostly good. Cross had a better game. He boosted his PFF grade just a little bit, 59.3. He allowed a couple pressures. His run block grade was a bit of an improvement. He did pick up that one penalty, which obviously docks his score, but I'm telling you guys that was very thin to me. That penalty was thin. I don't know if it was a out and out bad call, but he kept his hands inside, which is supposed to give you leeway. And it's hard for me to believe that was some. It's hard for me to believe that was a holding compared to some of the other stuff we saw in that game. So to me, that penalty, that's a big part of the reason why Cross got docked in this game. What he did get docked, and I'm just not really seeing it. So that I'm kind of tossing out a little bit here. Abe Lucas, his grade went up as well. He had a pretty good game. Pass protection was good. He did allow a sack, but that rep where he allowed the sack, I don't think he was that bad. I don't think you can kill him for what he did on that snap. It wasn't perfect, but he did fine, and Gino needs to help him out a little bit. So I'm not killing him for the sack either. I believe he picked up a penalty in this game as well, that it was a penalty. And through 5 games, he's allowed 10 pressures. And Cross is at 11, Lucas is at 10. To give you guys an idea of whether or not that's good, Teron Armstead, who is considered by many to be the best left tackle in the NFL, on like 40 fewer snaps, has allowed 8 pressures. So basically, he's slightly more effective at preventing pressures per snap. And by the way, we are passing the ball a lot in this offense right now because Gino, he's flinging the ball around a lot more than people expected. I think we all know that. So in terms of pressures allowed, they're both doing totally fine. As for Lucas being a little better than Cross, I think you can attribute that pretty much entirely to the fact that Lucas is about to turn 24, Cross is 21. So that just kind of lines up to me. Linebackers, we had Boye Mafe. He played a decent chunk against the Saints, did okay. I think his PFF grade was basically stagnant. He picked up a couple tackles. He also picked up a quarterback pressure, which he hasn't had since I think week 1. So Mafe played good. Mafe did his thing. And I want to see more of him because he's a little further along than I thought. And I was a big fan of his. I loved that pick. But I wasn't expecting great things his rookie year. And I'm not saying he's been great, but he's been solid. He's done his thing. And you got to continue to see more. I know we just picked up Bruce Irvin, and I think he will have a role. But Mafe needs to continue to see the field. Offensive skill players, and this one... So Ken Walker's PFF grade plummeted despite running for a 69-yard touchdown. So I don't know what to attribute that to. I think it's just one of those things where I think PFF's just a little bit off. I don't see how you can have the game that Walker had where he has almost 100 yards from scrimmage and busts what was nearly the game-winning touchdown, and you can say he was a net negative player, which is what they're saying based off their grade. Because I think his grade in that game is around 50, if I recall correctly. So I don't know where that comes from entirely, but I can't say that I agree with it. I think Ken Walker, you look at that 69-yard run he had, he showed the ability that he has. He showed why you draft him. He showed why this is now up to 160 yards and a touchdown on the season, and he's going to get the opportunity to get a lot more now. Given the fact that we have 12 games left and he is now going to be the starting back and the featured back, you are probably looking at a 1,000-yard season. And I kind of thought he was going to get that anyway, but now I really think he's going to get that. Derek Young didn't play. Bo Melton still practice squad. D. Eskridge, his PFF grade fell hard. Like, it was like over 5 points, I think. He didn't get a catch. He didn't get a touch. He did draw a PI on Lattimore, though, so I don't know. I don't know, guys. I mean, it sounds like I'm damning him by faint praise. I realize that. It sounds like I'm almost like making fun of him when I say this, but drawing a PI on one of the best corners in the league is no joke. So I look at that and I kind of go, maybe he didn't get enough credit for that. Maybe PFF doesn't really appreciate things like that. I don't know. Obviously, we need to use Eskridge a little bit more. For him to be on the field as much as he was and not get a single actual touch is concerning. Maybe Gino doesn't trust him. Maybe he's kind of in the doghouse, but we have to play him because there's nobody behind him right now. But we need to see something here. I know Eskridge can contribute in a positive way on a football field. Okay, defensive backs. And this is the juicy one, right? So, Kobe Bryant did not have a very good day in coverage. I'll go over the carnage there on Thursday. But he was able to, I don't want to say make up for it, but he was able to contribute via the forced fumble. And he now has 3 forced fumbles in 5 games. And one of those games he played 2 snaps. So, Kobe, there are some issues, for sure. But he is finding ways to make meaningful contributions. Those forced fumbles, that's no joke. All right? There are plenty of cornerbacks out there who are going to play this whole season and not force 2 fumbles, much less 3. So he picked up a couple tackles. He gave up some completions. At the end of the day, you say he's still got some stuff to work on. But I think he's headed in the right direction from where we started, because we started in a not very good place with him. He got off to a pretty miserable start. And I still say the nickel corner thing may not be his bag, but maybe just being out there is going to be good for him. It's hard to know, right? There are definitely players out there who you look at, go out there their rookie year and struggle mightily, but you're like, this is okay, they're learning. But then there are other players who just get their confidence completely nuked by it. So I think we're just going to have to wait and see on that one, but I can say that Kobe's out there making plays and doing the best that he can, given the circumstances. And Tariq Woolen, I mean, I don't need to make any caveats there. Good Lord, that guy is absolutely killing it. He gives up some stuff here and there, of course, but most of it is just little technique things. Like there's this one play where I think he gave up a completion on 3rd down where the reason why he didn't get in there in time, and he almost got in there in time, was he pushed off the wrong foot when he was breaking on the ball. If he pushes off the right foot, I think he breaks up the pass. Little things like that you would expect from a player of his level of experience. And despite little things like that, despite the little criticisms you can lobby at his game, he's still an above-average player. He is still a positive value player, big time, especially with the interceptions. His QBR allowed is still 40. He got hosed by a terrible penalty in that game as well, by the way, which hurts his grade. And he looks like he's on that superstar track. Once the refs stop completely hosing him, because right now they are, I'm sorry, there's no other way to put it, they are completely mad-dogging him. I think this guy is headed towards all-pro status. Maybe not this year, but he's on the road. And that's it for the rookies and sophomores so far. Let me know what you guys think. I will see you guys later for the Hawks Nest stream. Peace out. Go Hawks.